In this podcast episode, Terrence Howard shares an intimate and wide-ranging conversation about his personal experiences growing up, his career challenges and values in Hollywood, his spiritual and scientific beliefs, parenting insights, and his views on contemporary global and political issues. The episode explores Howard's reflections on faith, morality, industry dynamics, trauma, and his passion for science, revealing the complexities of his life both on and off screen. Terrence Howard discusses his approach to relationships within Hollywood's notorious hookup culture, emphasizing his decision to never engage sexually with women inside the business despite numerous opportunities. He speaks candidly about dating many women but setting firm personal boundaries, highlighting a distinction between companionship and intimacy. Howard credits this self-discipline to a combination of his upbringing, personal experiences, and his commitment to maintaining integrity throughout his career. Stories about interactions with fellow actors, including Nia Long and Nicole Ari Parker, illustrate his ability to form close, non-sexual friendships, a rarity in the industry. He reflects on the tension between the business demands and his values, mentioning advice from Denzel Washington about loosening his tight fists, metaphorically, to accept success more openly. Howard candidly shares his experiences and challenges as a father to both sons and daughters. He outlines a set of 9 family rules focused on self-respect, respect for others, and personal conduct, noting the difficulty of remaining consistent and avoiding hypocrisy. He contrasts raising boys and girls, suggesting girls are naturally more manipulative and intelligent due to neurological differences, making parenting them particularly challenging. His fear partly stems from his own karma regarding how he treated women in his youth, and his deep desire to protect his daughters from similar harm. Howard recounts his overprotectiveness rooted in childhood trauma and his ongoing effort to teach his children respect and boundaries. One of the most revealing parts of the conversation delves into Howard's early loss of innocence, revealing that he was involved in sexual activity with older girls starting at age 4 until 13 in a neighborhood where such behavior was normalized among peers. He calls this experience effectively being molested and reflects on how it profoundly shaped his adult views on sex, relationships, and parenting. This trauma contributed to distorted views about intimacy and sexuality, which he has worked to heal and understand throughout his life. He openly admits the struggles with regret, protecting his own children from similar situations and the lifelong consequences of that early exposure. Howard examines his spiritual journey from being raised among Jehovah's Witnesses and practicing Islam in childhood to ultimately rejecting organized religion in favor of a more personal, cosmic spirituality. He questions traditional biblical chronology and religious dogma, advocating for aligning beliefs with archaeological and scientific evidence. Embracing a concept of God as the universe itself, Howard expresses a belief in the balance of masculine and feminine energies and reincarnation, suggesting that souls alternate between genders for karmic balance. He discusses the convergence of physics and spirituality, comparing the universe's energy flows to human experience, tying his beliefs in reincarnation and cosmic cycles to electric and magnetic forces. Howard's prayer is to a universal God energy encompassing both masculine and feminine aspects, rather than a solely male figure. Howard recounts career experiences, including being cut from The Cosby Show, difficult interactions with producers and agents, and learning humility on set. He shares stories about conflicts arising from his assertive nature, aggressive moments, and struggles with managing anger and ego early in his career, which often put him at odds with industry expectations. Despite his talent and notable roles, including Iron Man, Howard describes feeling like an outsider due to his refusal to immerse himself fully in Hollywood's social rituals involving drug use and casual sex. He discusses how career setbacks sometimes stemmed from his unwillingness to conform to the rules of the business, and how he has grown to accept these experiences with a more balanced perspective. Howard openly shares his history with pornography, including struggles with addiction and the difficulty of controlling those impulses, even in later life. He highlights the overwhelming availability and impact of porn today, expressed concern over how it affects men's perceptions of sexuality and relationships. Raised with strict attitudes about masturbation and sexuality, Howard did not masturbate until the age of 25, influenced by his father's conservative teachings. He draws awareness to the challenges men face, balancing natural biological drives with emotional and spiritual health, emphasizing communication and intimacy with his wife as vital coping strategies. Howard discusses his complex relationship with religion, politics, and social structures. He supports a respectful attitude towards authority and politicians, regardless of disagreements, noting the importance of unity and diplomacy. He expresses reservations about America's changing political landscape, trade policies, and the deteriorating status of the U.S. dollar. Howard critiques wealth taxes and gerrymandering in California, hinting at a desire to relocate to safer, less politically hostile environments. He shares admiration for leaders like Nelson Mandela in the use of reason over emotion to foster change, and emphasizes the need for careful diplomacy instead of force in international relations. Beyond acting, Howard delves into his passion for science, especially physics and cosmology. He discusses his research into universal laws, energy conservation, and the finiteness of the universe, challenging mainstream scientific assumptions of infiniteness. He has been involved in scientific conferences and collaborations, pushing ideas that integrate consciousness, cosmology, and quantum theory. He expresses frustration over academic and institutional resistance to his theories, but continues to advocate for a shift in understanding that links spiritual and scientific perspectives. Howard offers insightful commentary on global affairs, including the shifting alliances between the U.S., China, Russia, and African nations. He supports diplomatic engagement over military action and points to China's rising influence as a significant geopolitical force. He discusses the complex dynamics in the Middle East, including Iran's changing position backed by global powers, and stresses the importance of recognizing the painful legacy of colonialism, particularly in Africa. Howard critiques the U.S. dollar's diminishing global dominance and warns of economic instability while highlighting the potential rise of precious metals like silver in this context. Howard shares background on his large family of 11 siblings with different mothers, highlighting different faiths between his Muslim father and Baptist mother. He describes the fractured family structure and his early struggle for parental affection, especially his motivation to act in hopes of gaining his mother's attention. Despite differences in beliefs, he maintains good communication with his brothers, many of whom practice Jehovah's Witness beliefs. His insight into family dynamics reveals themes of resilience and complex identity formation. While acknowledging challenges, such as being blacklisted after legal disputes with major studios, Howard remains centered on the art of acting and communicating deeper truths through his work. He expresses interest in moving beyond traditional performances to focus on healing and connecting with his authentic self. He reflects on lessons learned from various mentors and co-stars, his growth in humility and temper, and his commitment to balancing professionalism with personal values. Despite setbacks, he is content with his accomplishments and focused on continuing his journey in both the entertainment and scientific realms. Howard discusses how he and his longtime partner, whom he affectionately calls the only squeeze despite being divorced, navigate public affection, jealousy, and loyalty in the context of fame. He admires her kindness and humor in deflecting others' advances and values the deep connection they share. This mutual respect serves as a stabilizing force amid Hollywood's complexities. Howard critiques the normalization of controversial content in mainstream media, such as incest themes in shows like Game of Thrones, expressing concern about their social impact. He also touches on the potent influence of drugs, partying, and the entertainment lifestyle in shaping career opportunities and social networks within Hollywood. Throughout the episode, Howard acknowledges the support of his audience and emphasizes the importance of communication and engagement. He invites listeners to connect through social media and expresses gratitude for communal dialogue, reflecting his genuine desire to share knowledge and learn from others.